and welcome.
To another exciting episode of the Terrorisk podcast.
Yo.
What's up?
It's your favorite crew or your favorite pair, the dynamic duo.
I mean, the most common duo, right? We appear together more than you have with anyone else, right?
Yeah, that's
By a
true.
significant amount?
Yeah, do I even have to tell you, bro?
No.
Yes, you're definitely the co-host. Maybe someday you could be the host after I die and relinquish the podcast to you, full control. I'll let my lawyers know.
Well, hopefully not.
My lawyers will call your lawyers.
Sadly, I have none.
You don't have a lawyer?
No.
I could be your lawyer.
Okay, but then if you die and you have power of attorney, I don't know what I'm going to do. Unless it's like I have a chat GPT trained on you and your tax.
We could be each other's power of attorney.
Oh, that's true.
So if we both die, it's like, who fucking cares anyway? We're both dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's only an issue if one of us dies before the other, which is likely. Unless we die in a car crash together, which hopefully won't happen.
yeah. And for those of you watching from YouTube on a screen
All five of you.
instead of just listening, actually, I don't know. You never know. It might one day just be 100 people. Who knows? But you'll see that I'm drinking today. It's because today is a special day. It's actually a pretty somber day. I think it was not even 24 hours ago we lost our Pope.
I believe it was today exactly that Pope Francis. Fuck, I should know. I am so out of touch with papal politics.
That's what it's called, papal politics.
Papacy is anything related to the Pope, Vatican City, everything like that. So yeah, I died today.
Yeah, Pope Francis is in the great church in the sky. Is in the great cathedral in the sky. He is dead. I didn't know anything about this guy, and it's like, you know, every time a pope dies, there's always like just random people on social media posting, which is actually surprising. Like a few popes died now that ever since social media has been a thing, and
It's more like Cardinal Ratzinger, the previous pope, is still alive. He just stepped down due to some, I think, weird dynamic with interchurch politics, or because of like maybe fading mental abilities on his own part. It doesn't happen often, but pretty sure Benedict XVI, the previous pope, is still alive. He's literally like gardening in Vatican City.
Yeah, the Pope
Might just be mentally declining or something.
Well, the Pope is either dead or they faked his death because he's getting ready to go to colonize space with the rest of the Illuminati while the Earth just dies.
Yeah, what is he? Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
Yeah, from 2013 until his death.
Yeah, it's where all the Nazis were.
Mm-hmm.
After World War II. That's where Hitler ran away to hide. Yeah, this guy's definitely part of the Vril Society.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Vril Society?
Yeah, I do. It's something from like the 19th century. It's after the book, The Coming Race or whatever.
Yeah, you could just—it's a wireless mouse, so you could just you could take it up into your.
I feel so. Oh no, wait. Benedict XVI already died 2 years ago. Damn.
That's the one that looks like the Sith Lord.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like
guy.
Palpatine. Yeah, I like him too.
He looked really cool. You just had
95. Yeah,
he just had that riz, you know.
Mhm.
He's like
he was very traditional.
Yeah. Weren't like historically popes not always like these good like compassionate, peace-loving guys? Like,
I don't know. You have a lot of papal history in the Middle Ages, which, once again, embarrassingly, despite being raised Catholic, being kind of interested in the Middle Ages, my knowledge is somewhat limited. Yeah, there's a lot of interplay politically between papal and king authority throughout medieval and modern history. There's numerous times in the past where there was two rival popes at the same time, a pope and an anti-pope that were both vying for control of it due to broader political dynamics in Europe. It's weird because as a kid, Pope John Paul II was Pope from, I don't know, the 70s or the 80s until the aughts, if I recall correctly. He was very long-lasting as a Pope, possibly one of the longest reigns.
Which European kingdom was like, fuck your church, fuck your Pope, we're going to make our own Pope?
England?
Yeah, that was cool. That was a based move. It's like fuck.
Okay. Um. So Reformation starts early 1500s. Martin Luther, a monk, nails his 95 thesis, a complaint about the Catholic Church, namely its levels of corruption.
Nails it as in he poignantly points out a lot of fucked
No,
up.
he nailed it to the wall, to the door of the cathedral.
I thought he like killed it. You know, like he like.
Well, he did do that too. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is. It can sound like it's a particularly provocative statement, but in actuality, this was the church door was basically just a community bulletin board. He was basically posting in public saying, "Here's my complaints with the Catholic Church and how I would like to reform it." He did not intend to splinter into another denomination of Christianity. But this was something that was building for hundreds of years in Europe. Namely, there's a number of heresies, some similar, some not, to Protestantism that emerged before, like the Cathars and the Hussites. I think Hussites in particular, which is like 14th century Hungary, were kind of in a lot of ways proto-Protestants, but they didn't have the printing press to disseminate the idea. It had a far more local reach. A lot of heresies within the Catholic Church would basically take root in some area that was far away from Rome's circle of influence. And it's been building for a while because secular authorities in Europe always had like this push-pull with the Pope. Unlike, say, in the Muslim world, where oftentimes, the Caliph, well, at least in the early dynasties like the Umayyads and Abbasids, you had a merger of secular and religious authority in Caliph or Sultan reign. In Europe, that detachment, which is like following, is already something that kind of exists in the Roman Empire, but the nature of how Christianity spread throughout Rome kind of led to this inherent division between church and state that always exists in Europe. The further away from Italy or from the Mediterranean, usually the more disgruntled people were with the church, or they were less connected. Oftentimes, it's something like a French king or a Spanish king could have a level of influence in choosing cardinals, in influencing which person gets elected pope. In some ways, effectively, they had religious representation. People in like Germany or England were less likely to have. Protestantism, enabled by the printing press, and because there was a big concern about it, was that the Bible had only been kept in Latin, the ecclesiastic language, and with Protestantism, the Reformation, you start having vernacular Bibles translated. Like I think Gutenberg Bible is the first to be translated into German. These are all very, very basic details. I don't mean to bore anyone listening with this because this is, I think, very well-known historical details that I'm giving a very rough sketch of. But what I was getting at anyway was further away from Rome, the more likely they were to convert to Protestantism. So England, northern, Germany, Scandinavia.
How do you think it felt like like engaging with the teachings of Christ further and further away from Rome and the Mediterranean? Like, do you think you would have like a way big but different take on like being devoted to God and Jesus when you're living in like one of the greatest cities in the world versus like supposedly one of the greatest cities in the world in culture and commerce? Compared to like being in some backwater fucking country in the Anglo territories or something.
Well, it's not like London. By that point in time, like London was a wealthy city, Amsterdam were. Around like the 14th century, Europe starts to catch up or surpass in many ways the rest of the world. Like even before colonialism, before Columbus, already there's a shift in our estimates of GDP. I mean, the population is much lower than China or India, but you start getting more and more economic complexity and development in like a place like London or
when we think of
Hamburg or Amsterdam.
Well, when we think of like the socioeconomic impact, like I literally mean socioeconomic impacts of like Christianity and just that general flavor of Western monotheism. I think it's really what the real fruit that it introduced, and I call it fruit, but it felt probably terrible, but it really implemented shame into the fabric of Western culture. I mean, not shame, guilt. Sorry, shame is the East. East is the shame.
Yeah.
West is guilt, because that's what that's what the whole. That's basically what kept everyone in line. It was the guilt aspect. It's
What guilt cultures versus shame cultures. Part of it's
well, I'm
because
not
of
even
a-
saying like in opposition to each other, which
No.
did happen, of course. That absolutely
as
happened.
opposed to, I should say, not in opposition.
Yeah,
to.
but you're right. I mean that also happened. That when like East meets East meets West, like you see a lot of cases where it's like, what do I have to be guilty about? I'm already perfect. If anything, you should be ashamed that you're not living up to your perfection. Whereas the other one is like, you've been given the greatest gift by God and His Son, and you're squandering it on your self-obsessive pursuits. You should be.
That's a difference from responding or answering to relatives, to community, to other people around you, and answering to a higher power, answering to yourself.
It's true. And it's also actually, this also gets really philosophical as well when you consider like the basically, or if we're going to see the logical conclusion of like both those tendencies, I guess it's the philosophical concept of Nietzsche's Übermensch, which is like, to yourself, like answering to yourself, power up to yourself,
It's more of creating a new moral order and value separate from what's existed before.
and that's
And
kind of
also not in opposition necessarily or resentment of it.
not in opposition. And that's kind of where I'm at now. It's not like where I feel like, to me, like I could honestly say I do not give a fuck about general morality. I don't, but I do think that when you do less things that are bad for you, when you treat yourself with respect, when you take care of yourself, you naturally treat your environment and those in it better. So you like becoming a moral person just becomes a byproduct of taking care of yourself better,
Yeah, it flows naturally from the other.
But you just can't, it's not going to work if you just see yourself in a strictly material framework where it's like, I'm just my mind and body. And if you're only self-serving to your mind and body, then it's going to get fucked up. But then like in the other sense, there's I guess it is kind of in opposition to Übermensch. And then there's Kierkegaard's Night of Faith.
Yeah, both of them are proto-existentialists, which is what it gets termed as, various 19th century trends.
And I don't think like it's something that we should subscribe in our totality to one or the other as individuals, but I do believe that it depends on where you're at in life. Like if your life is going really bad, if your life is shit, then you should tap into the Übermensch. You should tap into like that framework of where you take responsibility for everything, every failure, every success, whatever. Like if you could control, if you're in control of it, which is your responses, then yes, you should take responsibility for it. But then there's the other sense where, let's say life is going good for you. You have a lot of abundance. You have a lot of money. You have a lot of power. Then you should be the Knight of Faith. Then you should answer to a higher power.
Yeah. You've said something similar to this before about determinism,
Free will.
Free will versus determinism. I think you're onto something in both cases, or the general plot is correct.
Because I've seen the opposite. I've seen what happens when you reverse that, and it's not good. Like when
cruelty among the powerful and helplessness among the
weak,
the down and out. Yeah.
So it's like, what I'm suggesting, I'll admit, is objectively more difficult. But in a sense where
it feels more well balanced, even if it seems contradictory. But I like it a lot as a formulation.
And maybe we're just conditioned. Maybe it's not even harder or easier. Maybe we're just conditioned to like have those wires crossed in a fucked up way, where it's like when our lives are going bad, we blame God and blame everything else. When our lives are going good, we just take sole responsibility for just that.
Yeah. Well, after that level of humility is. Yeah, it's interesting. Most radical Protestants ended up being determinists, Calvinists, followers of John Calvin.
And they set the stage for the Reaganites of America, who basically built this country on their backs. I mean, also the backs of many slaves and all that shit, but we don't really know. Like,
yeah, it's overblown because, like, slavery allowed a bunch of people in the South to get rich.
I mean, could you imagine if
contributed in some ways to our economic trade with the North? But the North was way before the Civil War, the North was way wealthier than the South, just due to it being more sound economics. To my vague understanding, I'm not an expert on this.
More Germans moved north.
That's true, into the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, some Germans did own plantations, and they were probably very good at it. It was like playing
There
Stardew.
weren't that many, though. It's mostly like British Isles plantation owners.
But yeah, you're right. They did mostly move north.
And even then, like religiously, there was a difference between them before baptism rolled through the South. The difference between Calvinist Puritans in New England versus Episcopalian Southern plantation class at the start of the start of the Revolution.
I was gonna say, could you imagine if like if Catholics built America, it would be a very different.
Maybe Latin America. Well, no, I guess if it was Anglo-Catholics or French, perhaps it would be different. But yeah,
it would be a pretty cool country, actually. Maybe, you know.
Yeah.
There would definitely be a lot more alcohol consumption. Prohibition would have never happened. We might have lost World War II and World War I consecutively.
I don't know about lose. It definitely would be a less effective country.
Yeah, we'd be more fucking.
I guess Latin America gives you a good idea of Catholic America, barring racial differences or whatever.
No,
but also being Catholic, they probably would
just bar racial differences.
No, I can't. You're right, especially not me.
That's not a Carmen thing to do.
Yeah, if we were Catholic, we probably ended up with a lot more race mixing in America, and we would look a lot more like Brazil.
Yeah,
Brazil is the country I think most like America.
The people there
is
are
often said.
The people there are sexy, but they can't stop chopping each other up.
Yeah, exactly.
In bathtubs.
And it's a basket case economy and all that. Yeah. High population. A lot of little enclaves unto themselves.
I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I've like imagined what it would be like if me and you if you and I went to a country where the economy was so bad we could go there with like $100 each and live like kings for a week.
Yeah. Many such places.
Yeah. They'll be like, he gave me $1 tip and he goes to his boss.
It's not this quite that level. It would require more money and they wouldn't react exactly that way. But I hear that Mexico City is very cheap.
I mean, all right, let's try to set the limit, like cash limit for how much we would bring. Like if it was like say Panama and we went there with like $1,000 each, we could probably have a great time for like a few days.
Yeah, I agree. Colombia, Brazil.
Like out there, the locals will look at your like Adidas slip-ons and they'll be like, "Oh,
I gotta mug this guy. I gotta kill this guy. I gotta kidnap him."
Well, I was gonna say it's like you could meet a cute girl. And it's like, "Yo, you want these?" They'll be like, "Oh my god, luxury items."
Yeah, a lot of prostitutes would circle us.
You think
like
so?
Piranhas. Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah. Some of them will be like women. Some of them will be men dressed as women.
A lot more of just the cis women alone would be sketchy, either disease-wise, crime connection-wise. But I'm sure there's plenty of girls that we could have sex with that would not get us in trouble. We just have to be savvy about it.
I mean, the sad part is if we went to a place like Panama, like actual women there wouldn't want to come near us because they'll be like, he's just going to think we're prostitutes.
No, I bet a bunch of women would try to approach us that weren't prostitutes trying to seduce us for citizenship.
Oh, shit.
But they wouldn't be, they'd be very savvy about it.
What's the difference? That shrug. I wish I had a picture of that. That was such a natural.
It, but you could just screenshot it.
It was a natural, candid shrug. But yeah, I would marry up a chick if she wanted citizenship from me. Because at first she would want.
Well, this is just our passport bro arc.
At first, she would just want the like citizenship, but then she would fall in love with me, and she'd be like, "Oh man, I actually like this guy."
Yeah.
And then she would start getting existential. I would make her existential. She'd be like, "What am I gonna do in America anyway? Like, so what? I got my citizenship. Great. Now what?"
She'd be so happy to be an American. She'd be trying to bring her family over or send money back to her family all the time. It's like she wouldn't be existential. She's just like, all my brothers and my parents have to stay in our house with us.
I'll be very upset at that. I'll be like, nah, your brothers are going to try to kill me with their fucking jiu-jitsu. With their fucking Brazilian-ass jiu-jitsu. No,
they would just all mooch off of you or try to mooch off of you.
Hey, buddy. You got a dollar? You got a dollar for me, man? I don't know how they speak. I don't know how the Brazilian accents are. They're Portuguese, right? They speak Portuguese?
They speak Brazilian Portuguese. I don't know how different it is from I'm assuming it's partially mutually intelligible, but pretty different with Portuguese.
Yeah. Yeah, my boss would when he would speak, he would tell me he thought he was a fucking genius for this. He was like, "Yeah, when I talk to foreign people, I like mimic their accents."
Yeah, everyone does that naturally, and I think people who are good at languages do it more naturally than others.
I don't think that's the right way to go, though.
It seems like a lot of speaking is like an accent is part of it.
Nah, I don't think it's the right. I don't like to mimic accents like that. I don't even like to adopt any kind of accent. I try to be as accent neutral as possible.
If you're speaking another language, it helps to adopt the regional accent. Excuse me.
I mean, let's see. American English especially is I think the most heavily affected by different accents.
Is it? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are speaking English, but we don't have like dialects of it like other languages do. Um, don't know. I assume there's other languages where lacking a good accent makes it very difficult to understand. Whereas you can kind of understand someone with a heavy accent that barely speaks English.
Yeah, I suppose.
English being this simplified, in other ways very complex trade language.
I mean, it's funny too, though, because
English is a real Jew language, more so than Hebrew.
it's a Germanic language.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, because like I've seen reels where it's like you'd see like the hood open of a car,
Yeah.
and the guy would just be like, he wouldn't use any words, he would just gesture and make noises. He'd be like point to something, he'd be like, and you
Yeah,
would know
pantomime, sound word. Yeah.
and you would know
It's
exactly what
basic
it's about, yeah.
human communication.
And I was like, hey, you know, I think English is closest to that.
Mhm.
Because people just come up with random shit all the time and it gets accepted into the Oxford Dictionary like it's nothing. Or the Merriam-Webster's Dictionary. Good diction. That's a funny word. That man has good diction. But, you know, I mean,
I don't know. I'm not enough of a linguist to really comment on this, but
I'm not a linguist either, but I can say that I've done quite a bit of writing, and I'm just becoming more bilingual. It's not that I'm
and
not.
you already speak the music of language.
Say what?
You already speak the language of music.
Which is what?
I don't know, music theory or music.
Oh, music? Yeah, I guess.
Also, you speak the language of romance.
Which is what?
I don't know. I was hoping you would tell me.
English? I mean, the two languages that I really know actually are Korean and English. That's about it. Spanish, kinda, not really.
How good is your Korean at this point?
Getting better. It's the numbers that I have trouble with because Korean counting system is a little different. Like, you know how we say 1, 2, 3, first, second, third?
Yeah.
They'll say like it's 33 minutes of within the third hour or something like that. They'll use like different forms of counting for, you know, it's just weird. And the money counting.
They just do a verbal digital clock.
Kinda, yeah. Well, actually, contemporary Korean is pretty modern, I think. Or in a way, it's
It's
modern.
very modern, isn't it? Isn't like the reforms that led to it from
Yeah.
like the 18th century or something?
Yep. And it also, like, if you look at the contemporary Korean alphabet, it's a lot like ours. It has vowels and consonants.
Yeah, it's phonetic.
Yeah.
It's the only like phonetic East Asian alphabet, right?
Yep. So it's pretty easy to learn, actually. It's just now you're getting all these nuances out of it, not because of anything official. It's just because of culture. You know, you're getting as more Korean media comes out, as more synthesis comes between like especially English and Korean.
And American occupation for so long, and the
Yeah, like half the Korean words are just bastardized English words, like helicopter.
that's
in
a big
Korean.
factor in North Korean, right? North Korean deliberately has no English words or loan
Yeah.
words,
Yeah, like instead of
so it's like mutually intelligible but vastly different.
like
I don't even know. Are they mutually intelligible?
all right, like in for example, like in Korea, South Korea, helicopter they would just call it helicopter, right? But in North Korean they would say the Korean equivalent of like rotary based propeller helicopter, aircraft or something, you know? Like,
Yeah. Which is fascinating. These two languages evolving next to each other.
in
like
Korea they would say hamburger, you know, but in North Korea they would say like meat bun. In Korean, actually, the actual Korean word for meat bun, you know.
that.
It's like how we talked about, like if you spoke English with absolutely no romantic,
French loan words. Yeah.
no romantic word, yeah, you would say reading is book learning or something.
Yeah, because it would be a German language, so you have. I mean, it is a German language. You have a shit ton of compound words.
Yep, which is pretty badass actually.
Yeah.
Dramatic English sounds sick. I'd be down to learn that.
I think also a lot of those compound words though get shortened and then become new words.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, household becoming hussy or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, I think it would be the perfect neo-Nazi language.
Reconstructed.
English.
Wouldn't it be lacking any? Well, I guess the big thing would be lacking any Hebrew words.
I don't know. I don't think
It'd be taboo in neo-Nazi English to say chutzpah.
Yeah.
Except for goy. That was the one thing they could say.
Look, I'm not saying I have any inclinations of being a Nazi, or I'm not saying I subscribe to any kind of Nazi ideology, but if I had any say, like if I was like the head neo-Nazi or something,
Very possible in America.
I don't think I would be so focused on the Jews. I wouldn't really. I don't think it would be so much about going to war with Jews as it would be for me as an Aryan neo-Nazi prince or whatever. I would be like, my main concern is the preservation of the Aryan race. Whether that means A, sometimes going to war with Jews, or B, focusing more on creating our utopia somewhere like a commune, whatever the case may be. Like, I think that's really how it should go, right? I'm not saying I want to be a neo-Nazi. I'm not saying that's what the neo-Nazis should go for, but I'm just saying.
You sound like a.
Richard Spencer kind of deal, right?
No, yeah, you're under. I can't help but wonder. You're circumcised, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's why you're so pro-Jewish.
Is that what it is? Pro-Jewish?
I don't know. I know that circumcision is common in South Korea, comically so.
I mean, it's common in America.
Yeah, because of America.
Because of
very
Jews.
few other places. It's like Israel, America,
and
South
why
Korea.
is it popular in America? Because
and Muslims are into circumcision
because of the covenant and the Jews and all that shit.
No, it was because of like early 20th century hygiene standards or something that circumcision became commonplace.
All right.
I think.
But would you say that's pro-Jewish of me to say as a neo-Nazi?
You'd be accused of that by other neo-Nazis.
But what about intellectual neo-Nazis? Wouldn't they agree? They'd be like,
some of them, I don't know. Some of them, yeah.
It's like we're discussing this before I bring it up to the neo-Nazi bot. It's like, are you sure they won't go for this, Carmen? Come on. We've been working on this for years.
The Jared Taylor line of including Jews in your white ethno state, which is a good choice.
Imagine if I get branded amongst the neo-Nazis as a dirty reformist, like a heretic, a neo-Nazi heretic.
Yeah, they wouldn't mind you being a Korean. They'd be bothered by your pro-Jewish stance.
That would be a cool idea for a video game. Like, it's about these two characters. It's primarily played as a two-player co-op shooter. One character is a disgraced neo-Nazi, and the other character is the disgraced Ku Klux Klan member.
Neither of them are white.
One's like
neither of them are white,
and that's why they got kicked out.
No, they're just no. They got kicked out for being too pro-Jewish.
Yeah. No, the neo-Nazi one is black, and then the Ku Klux Klan guy is Chinese.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, and then you just go. All your enemies you're shooting are minorities and libtards.
Oh my god! And then they meet up, and like narratively they hate each other, but then they eventually learn to work together, and they're saying like racist shit to each other the whole time.
Yeah.
But then they're like,
no, they're immediate fast friends. It's just they're okay. Here's what we're imagining: Rush Hour, but both protagonists are white supremacists.
Holy shit! Yes, pretty much.
White supremacist Rush Hour.
Oh my god, this is genius. This is good. See, this is what I said this in the car. I was like, the best ideas just come unprompted. Oh man, good thing it's recorded for posterity at least. Racist Russia. You're kicked out of the neo-Nazi. Why? Well, first of all, you're black. Second of all, you have way too much love for the Jews. And then the other guy is like, we're kicking you out of the Ku Klux Klan, Chinaman. You're too crazy.
You crazy. Yeah, they just shoot up all the enemies of Israel.
Yep.
The final boss is just a Palestinian organizer.
God damn it. I mean, there have been like great satirical games like this. Some were even like just straight up like misanthropic, like narratively. Like, you ever heard of the game Kane and Lynch?
I have. I never played it. I know of it. And the sequel, I know that has a bunch of defenders.
It's one of those controversial titles, you know.
Yeah, because of quality more than anything.
Second one was the second one, you could say, yes, it's brutally violent, unnecessarily violent, and some scenes specifically hone in and glorify the violence. However, true gamers just hate that game because it was almost made deliberately, mechanically, like deliberately shitty to like.
I've heard that it was made deliberately shitty to emulate being wasted and going on a shooting spree, and just being in an action movie. It's like sensory rape. I don't know how else to put it. You know, it's like
Yeah,
I've seen scenes of it, and it seems I just don't care for that kind of gameplay design.
I mean, it is novel though, because
I love Max Payne 3 though.
like the things they do, for example, it's discomfort in playing the game, but narratively, thematically, it makes sense. Like what you would say, thematically, it makes sense. Like when you're chasing a character down, the camera angle is as if there's a third guy running, trying to keep
Trying
up.
to film you like
Yeah,
in
from the
a
camera.
reality TV or like a found footage horror.
Yeah, kind of like that. Or it's like when you blast a guy in the face, like instantly you see like a blur effect, like as if they're trying to censor it out, which is pretty interesting. They don't.
That's visually interesting, but it should be accompanied by fun gameplay. It just can't warrant having unfun gameplay.
Yeah, and also
I think the best way of doing that is Hotline Miami is incredibly fun to play for every level except the one where you're drugged and escaping from the hospital.
it does kind of sense rape your eyes. It gives
Yeah.
you epilepsy. It gives you epileptic.
That's a
seizures.
very fun game. It achieves a great same thing, but
well. It's also it doesn't try to be more than it is. Like some games like do. Like
an
maybe
incredible soundtrack, obviously.
yeah, it's true. Maybe a game like Kane and Lynch is just it's just too much money. They get, it's like a game made with way too much of a budget. Whereas Hotline Miami is perfect if you're going to make a piece like that.
Because it's low budget. Yeah, I know. General issues in AAA game development have been ongoing for a while.
That's why it's gotten to the point where I just don't care anymore. I legit
I
could
don't-
not give.
I don't have the time for video games anymore. I'm trying to not play them.
Same here. I mean, I couldn't give a single flying fuck about any video game company drama, about any kind of human rights violations going on in the corporate video game. I could not give a fuck. Honestly, it's like we are at such an excess of video games. If the biggest companies just went belly up, I couldn't give a shit. I honestly could not care less. Because I think no matter what, video games have created enough good experiences in the collective human psyche to like warrant just, there's always going to be people who give enough shits about it to preserve it, And then you're going to have libtards saying like, oh, well, because Trump's president, we're eventually all going to be enslaved and we're not going to get to play video games.
I feel like if we were enslaved, they'd make us play more video games.
Or it's
Also,
like,
that's great, actually. The idea of a guy who's just really anti-Trump because he thinks Trump's going to ban video games.
that is another good idea. That'll be a good like dime store novel. You know what? I think we are at a perfect economy or a perfect point in like the edge of history right now where it's like we should bring back like dime store novels, like like small.
You have to have people willing to read them and have the attention span for it. I think there's just so many other technologically induced screen-based distractions. People have to really focus to even read a cheap dime store novel.
All right, something really bad has to happen where it's like people just don't want to look at their fucking screens anymore. I mean, they'll do it if they.
There has to be a monster in the screen that will scare them. You have an app that just causes your phone to give you random jump scares,
asshole.
so you're too scared to use it, and then you can focus on reading.
You dick, because that would work too.
Yeah.
For like the stupidest people, that would absolutely work. Absolutely, that's a good idea. You need a monster in your phone to scare you. And the kind of jump scares it gives you, it's not like a monster going, ah! It's like text messages from your mom saying like, I saw what you did with that boy. Or something, or it's like your boyfriend saying, I saw the text.
I actually like the idea that you just have a scary face pop up on screen as an analog horror. You're like, too spooky. I put my phone away.
It's like when
There's a distorted like face in black and white of like a girl screaming and the face is moved around.
It's like what they do in Canada when you buy cigarettes and they have like a
Yeah,
show
yeah,
from the
yeah.
cancer heart. It's just like, too spooky. I don't. But yeah, something. But yeah, something so bad has to happen in the collective interwebs that just makes people like not want to look at their phones, like Black Mirror shit. Like, the feeling you get when you watch Black Mirror and you don't want to look at your phone for like 30 minutes. It's like that feeling extended forever. I mean, we'll only look at our phones if we have to, like pay bills, to pay our rent, to fucking go through our bank accounts, but that's it. And I wonder what it could be. I think it's like where it's like every single person in the world's public information gets leaked. Or it's
Yeah.
like every single person's information gets leaked. Then what? Who's going to want to look at that? Who's going to want to look at their phone at all? It's like, honestly, if that happened, if it was just like a global hack, like where it's literally every single connected person had every single bit of private information leaked to the public, I would probably.
I know. We talked about this before. Everyone posts their balls on the internet.
I never said that, but that sounds great.
Yeah, I agree. That's our mass protest. You go to a protest and it's a bunch of guys who printed out pictures of their balls.
Hold it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if that happened, I would just not like if that happened to the whole world. First of all, it would be mass chaos. Second of all, I would just not want to look at my phone. I would just be like, fuck it. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at this. I'm just not going to pay attention anymore. I'm sure smart people would have the same idea as me too. Like I would walk around and then I would like look into everyone's eyes and eventually I would lock eyes with like 1 out of every 20 people. Like you're not looking either. And they'll be like, nope. I mean, word. Like, what about you? Would you be obsessed? Who would you look into?
There's a bunch of girls that I like crushes on.
At least you're honest about it.
Well, I mean, what else am I going to say? That's obviously what I'm going to fucking look at.
And then you would move on to famous people, right?
I'd be more interested in girls I know. A few famous people, but yes.
Yeah.
My big crushes, and then just that.
Yeah. It's like, and then you run into them mysteriously in person, and it's like, oh, by the way, I would never look into your private information. Oh, what's your favorite flavor ice cream, by the way? Let me guess. Rocky Road. It's like, how did you know that? Not because I looked into all your private information for hours and hours and hours. Private, now public, I should say.
Yeah.
I think the idea for me is I'll just like give enough like bullshit public information that anyone who has to sort through all my shit, like no matter what leaks, they'll just look through my public profiles and they'll be like, all right, this is all retarded shit, like fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I consider my private life, I always consider the metaphysical as my true private life. Like that's,
Yeah, as opposed to your interactions with other people.
Yeah, I figure like, yeah, they could always track everything, but they can't track my fucking soul. That's my fucking, that's the one thing I'm not willing to give up. Like I'm not willing to
perfectly closed off from the rest of the world.
Well, I just don't want to, I mean, I'm willing to open up my soul to like loved ones, like, you, for example, and family and friends and all that shit. It's just, I just don't want to like let myself be diddied for like material gain. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't want that. I know people are willing to like, I mean, I'm not going to say it, but like personally, like I have not like anything drastic of people trying to like diddy me for fame. No, I'm not even that important. I'm just saying like I've been in cases, put in positions where I was offered to compromise myself to like for material gain. And it's just, and I had that real ass decision and I was like, it is like a defining moment for anybody. And it could come at you when you're like 6 years old. It's like, stomp on this kitty cat's head. Or it's like, it could happen when you're like 16 years old. It's like, yo, kiss that girl. She's asleep. She's passed out. No,
it's yo, dude, stomp that girl's pussy right now. Really bizarre.
No, that's 17.
Yeah, a bunch of frat guys drug a bunch of girls, not to fuck them, but just to stomp on their pussies. They're misogynistic, red-pilled, the incel frat.
It's like you go on the Reddit, it's like, field report. Yeah. Me and my bros did some sick pussy stomping last night. We did some real muff stomping, bro. Crush that cabbage. Like, oh man, yeah, but you know what? And I know shit like this happens, especially with boys.
Yeah, they're just so retarded. They don't understand what pussy pounding means.
Pussy footing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's actually really sick what like young boys could get into, and I have a couple of theories.
Children are monsters, and young boys are monsters in a physical way.
Because I was in like a group home, right?
Yeah,
and we would all talk about, like, we were teenagers, so it's like, what else do teenagers talk about when they're remanded under the state? They talk about their past, like we talk about our first times having sex, and that's how I found out
jerking each other off.
No, the first time having sex is how I found out that a lot of like like black males get molested as young kids, and they don't look at it as getting molested. They look at it as getting like having sex for the first time. But
Yeah.
they were saying like,
A
oh,
lot of them are like 10, 11, 12.
yeah, like I was like 11, 12 years old, and my cousin, she was like 17. You know, we did. I was like, you got molested, bro. Like it's not kosher. But then there was stuff like that. But then there was other stuff that they did because like they came from like they were hoodlums. They came from like really bad places where their parents were apparently either deemed
Unsurprisingly, there's a lot of child molestation abuse within those circumstances, especially if they were judged unworthy of having custody of their kids.
Yeah. And maybe that did kind of break me in a way because like maybe that is part of what makes me so cynical because like they would tell me stories like, yeah, like one of my boys, like we were with our OGs and our YGs, and then we put like a cat in the pillowcase and we were swinging around hitting a brick wall. I was like, like I was listening to this shit and I had to keep a straight face. Like I wasn't like, outwardly phased, and I didn't even know I was inwardly phased either. But then I always think about it like as an adult even, and I'm like, yep, that definitely fucked me up. Like just like visualizing that, and it's like I was like, and that's the kind of shit they would do. Like they would like do stabbings like in subway trains. It's like, yo, we creeped up on a dude, stabbed him, took his wallet, took his girl's purse, and ran off. I was like, could you imagine? And that was the norm. And this wasn't even that long ago. This was like early 2000s. Like after
even they're BSing, a bunch of things are true that they're saying. And it speaks to their level of psychopathy and social dysfunction.
They had no reason to lie in that sense.
Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah. Well, I don't know what status among each other.
No, that we were all just like fucking in a group home. It's
well, even in that case, you're like, especially as teenage boys, you want to engage in like you want to gain status among each other, right?
I didn't. No, I mean, well, I don't think so. I think what they really cared about at that, because here's the deal: everyone in the group home was like, they were all of us boys were basically lucky that we weren't in juvie in jail. So it's like a midpoint. It's
it's like a halfway house.
Yeah. So it's like
that. Okay, that's a good point. That makes sense then.
So it's like half of them came into that kind of group home because of some abusive home situation, or because they were just straight up thugs, like thug children, and they just couldn't send kids to jail. And apparently maybe they were too young for juvie, so they send them in a group home.
Probably is, as you said, a halfway point, or maybe something that got plead down to after like an arrest.
Yep.
Or
I mean, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I only ended up there because I got arrested as a kid. And when you get arrested as a kid too many times, technically your parents are deemed unfit to raise you. And if they don't protest, it's like the state takes custody. But then like the biggest problems don't really happen when like the kid just ends up like fucking up so bad he goes to jail. That's pretty predictable. The problems happen is like, with me, it's like they don't know what to do with you when you behave. When you're in a group home because you...
Oh, yeah, because of misbehavior. It's really weird that you're behaving and not causing trouble.
Yeah. And I wasn't misbehaving because I was like, uncontrollable. I was misbehaving because I was a fucking teen.
Oh, give me a lighter. Yeah, and you have a unique circumstance because rarely would a kid like you end up going to that kind of foster care or juvie or a halfway point.
I did go to juvie though. That was fun. That was a fun time.
How long?
I went briefly because I went AWOL from the group home, and I ended up in juvie, and for like a weekend, and that was a good time because that's when I met like the kids who didn't make it into the group home.
Yeah, like, realize how really fucked up they were.
Yeah, those were like I met teenagers that killed people. I mean,
yeah.
You're right. They could have been bullshitting, but it's like the kind of kid you look. It's like they had the tattoos on their face and shit.
Yeah,
and it's like, yo, this kid is clearly a murderer, and it makes sense because the way I understand it is the OGs will make the kids do it because if the kids get caught, they don't get sentenced and shit like the same way.
Yeah, they have they're made men or whatever.
Yeah, so it was some scary shit, and but some of it, you did hear interesting shit like, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, you would hear like other kids your age talking about, yo, I had a pound of weed in my bag when I got caught, dude. I was like, what the fuck? Because as a 15-year-old, you're talking about dime bags and nickel bags, but it's like, that was crazy shit. Yeah, juvie was a trip. What was interesting though is like when I was also in the group home, it was a direct line for a G. I mean, they're right. Like when they say it's like, yo, we offer every opportunity for you to like get a formal education.
Yeah, and almost everyone else didn't take it, but you did by personality.
I mean, what else was I gonna do?
Yeah,
I mean, they gave me a good deal. They were like, if you get your GED now, when you get out of here at 17, you don't have to go back to school. You could just do whatever you want because you already got your high school equivalency. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. I didn't care about going to college at that point.
Honestly, you could have gone to. You know, so many Asians get rejected from schools because they're boring. You being the only Asian male with a college essay saying, yo, I went to juvie and I got my GED, they would have been like, this is the only black enough Asian. You would get accepted to Harvard. You would like just standard scores, your standard, I don't know. I'm assuming you took the SAT.
I would be the ultimate diversity hire. Like,
not quite, but they would at least accept you because you'd be admitted to the school because you had an interesting background.
I suppose so.
You have like a 1400 SAT score, and
Average
then you're
as
saying like I was the only Asian kid
at a group
home surrounded by blacks and Hispanics. They would go ape shit for that. You would be the rare case of a highly successful Asian applicant.
I've heard that before too. They were like, most kids who come out of a group home don't end up like you, and I was like, I'm perfectly aware. I am brutally aware of that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my last weekend at the group home, that was the first and only time I ever watched a person get murdered. I told you about that, right?
Yeah, you did, right? It was on a train or something?
Yeah, a kid got stabbed. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm glad I saw that, but it's like, it could put a lot of things into perspective for me.
Yeah.
Instantly, I fully understood what's actually important in life and what's not. First of all, what's important is your health, because without that, you're dead. You can't do anything. And when you die, when you're dead, it's not as romantic as like the books make it look. Like, people don't spend that much time missing you and like remembering you and you becoming forever marked in history. Nah, it's just, you just brutally, violently die instantly. You bleed out. You traumatize a few people who bear witness, and that's it. Like,
yeah,
you're just a memory that people would rather forget. Like,
yeah, for the vast majority of people, yeah.
Yep. So once I learned,
die over some stupid adolescent male bullshit.
Yeah, and once I learned that at 17, I was like, hey, I'm good to go. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, which is exactly what I want to do. That doesn't involve harming other people. As long as it's what I want to do, that doesn't involve like fucking with other people, I'm good. Because I know what like these kids do, you know, when they're bored. Like it's like
they're genuinely very malicious figures.
Yeah.
Internet trolls and like those juvie kids are similar. It's just that one's effete and higher intelligence. But both of them are engaged in the same kind of just raw, stupid, antisocial behavior.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I engaged in plenty of it. I engaged in a fuck ton of that. But the conclusion that I came to after engaging with both ends of doing compassion stuff and non-compassionate stuff, I concluded at the end, it's not about other people. It's really just about like doing right by yourself. And if you do right by yourself, you naturally do right by your environment and those in your environment, because it's just harmony. It's not about good or bad at that point. It's just about a balance between your surroundings and your inner world, your outer world, your external, internal, and that's it. We could take a recess.
Take a break. I'm sorry that I'm keep twitch. Oh
no, I was gonna say we could do what you have to do it now.
So what do you feel?
I was gonna say in like 12 minutes we can.
I feel like this is a good time break.
What
the
is
story? This is my excuse for you running to the bathroom, but yeah.
Oh, use the bathroom.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah,
I know what happened to Kanye West.
Oh yeah, should we tell everyone about what happened to Kanye West?
I know what happened to him. So the reason why he made that song,
I don't think they know the song.
They know the song.
No, I don't know. I mean,
all right,
this just happened today.
Yeah. So when I picked up Carmen, he just informed me. It's like, did you hear Kanye West's confession? I'm like, well, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What could he possibly confess to? Like, after all that Kanye West has done and said, what could he possibly confess to? And then Carmen proceeded to inform me that Kanye made this like unhinged tweet about how like, and he just read the tweet. Do you want to read the tweet?
Yes, I do want to read the tweet. You want to pull it up if on this window?
I don't know. You might see it better from your phone. Actually, can you see it from here?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I maybe look it up.
All right, here we go. Did he delete it? I hope he didn't dirty delete it.
It should be from today.
Yeah, I think he deleted it.
Oh, let's see. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Then I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, it's gone. Because I know it came with like a video. Yeah, he dirty deleted that shit.
I found it. This song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. Tweet sent.
Yo, every time I hear that tweet, I unravel a new layer that I didn't unravel last time. Like
I'm sending it directly to you. Check your DMs.
No, I have a screenshot of it.
But check your DMs. I want you to play the song. The video is incredible. Unless you think that the song will get taken down, the video is incredible.
I think it's gonna get taken down. That's why I don't want to play it. But
share to post. Please do it. I don't know. I just kind of want you to anyway because it is such an incredible video. Maybe it's too risky, but the music video is incredible. This video is great.
My cousin head. Gave my cousin head.
Look at this video.
It's very intimate.
Yeah.
Alright, I don't want to play the whole thing.
Okay, fair.
But yeah.
At one point, there's a drawing of a woman with big breasts, and she has swastikas over her nipples in the video.
So I know what happened to Kanye. So Kanye West, he's right now probably getting a threat.
I think it's called child-on-child sexual assault or abuse.
No, I think he's getting fucked with hard body from like people that are extremely powerful, threatening him with all sorts of weird shit. It's like, hey, we know about your thing with the whole Nazi thing you did back then.
We know about it. Yeah,
and then Kanye,
it's not like every single person knows about his Nazi fandom.
No. And in response, Kanye West says, "All right, you think you got me on that? Watch this." And then he just releases some Nazi shit. And then now they're saying, "Oh, we know you used to suck your cousin's dick." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, you think you got me on that? Watch this." And then he says, "Just oh yeah, I sucked my cousin's dick. So what?" There, I said it. Maybe that's his thing. He's
I like this a lot, actually. This is a really brilliant interpretation.
No, it's a self-immolation.
Self-immolation, yeah. This is the only way he can break free of the Illuminati.
I mean, because when they control you on that level, it's like, what other...
Yeah, hell other way than embracing it.
Yeah.
I like this, actually. Hold on.
It's either that or you sell your soul. What would you choose? Would you choose penance over everything you've actually done?
No, he's no longer willing to do that. He's willing to go all out.
Exactly. So that's pretty baller to me. You know, like I think that's, when I said this, I know what's happening to Kanye West. I think this is what's going on. Like, I think he's getting fucked with by like heavy hitters. And they're trying to get at him with all sorts of shit he did. We know you sucked his dick. We know you did this. And Kanye's being Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's actually a sick narrative. He should play that up, you know, like.
Hanging with my cousin reading dirty magazines. We seen some niggas kiss and we ain't know what that shit mean. Then we start reenacting everything that we had seen. That's when I gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head. I gave my cousin head, I gave my cousin head.
I'm telling you, dude, this is his fight. This is how he fights. This is how he's fighting the Illuminati.
Yeah, and then according to Rap Genius, on Easter Monday 2025, Ye revealed the next that he had sexual relations with his male cousin in a shocking moment of vulnerability. This provides more context as to his trauma and childhood environment, giving greater insights into his complex relationships with Christianity, pornography, and childhood sexual abuse, especially given his recent comments on Puff Daddy, Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly.
No, but isn't that interesting though? I mean,
it is.
But think about it, because like, what would
he's truly the GOAT. He's
because I mean, this is what I mean when I say like a global spiritual awakening. Like, what is more destructive of ego than like self-immolation? Like, where they have you at your most deepest, darkest secrets, and then you're just making songs about it and releasing it on Twitter. It's like, yeah, I gave my cousin head. You know, I gave my cousin head. It's like, that's Kanye West for you.
I don't know. It sounds like his cousin was really gay for him and was upset when he rejected him.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah, he said like he stabbed or shot a pregnant woman, and in his selfish mess or whatever, he thought it was because his cousin. He said, "I don't want to have gay sex with you anymore."
And then his cousin is the one blackmailing him. And then Kanye
Yes,
West
actually, this cousin might be the one that blackmailed him previously with private information,
like Nazi stuff. And he's actually in war with secret wars with his cousin.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's
he's at war with the Jews. He's at war with his cousin. Who's at war with women?
Who's in league with the Jews and the women?
Yeah.
That's what the battle is. Kanye West versus Jews, his cousin, and women.
Yeah. Yeah, all the forces of hell are arraigned against him.
And they're all losing against Kanye West.
In the spiritual battlefield, the Infowar.
All right, so in politics,
the fucking Infowars appearance with Nick Fuentes, and they all put on masks at one point.
So in politics, it's Donald Trump. In music, it's Kanye West.
Yeah.
In sports, it's Dennis Rod. No, I'm kidding. It's not Dennis Rodman. It's actually
it's Arnold Palmer.
It's fuck. There's Mike Tyson. Yeah, there you go. In sports,
it's one of those early 20th century baseball players that had like the nickname Nig.
No, it's Mike Tyson. It's got to be Mike Tyson. Mig the Nig.
No, they're all white guys. It was just that they were dark, like they were Italian.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like their name would be like Nig Scarpelli. And they were just a locally known top baseball player.
Or Giuseppe Nig.
Yeah. No, it was a first name nickname, but yeah.
Nig. I don't know. All I know is right now it's Kanye West in music, Donald Trump in politics, Mike Tyson in sports. These are just the
just top of their game people currently?
No,
I don't know.
I mean top of like the lowest common denominator on the conservative side.
Ooh, you think that I don't know sports enough to say. But yeah, conservative side, he just has a lot of lowest common denominator figures now. Well, Kid Rock and music after.
Well, I'm
Kanye.
saying just because they appeal to all the most lowest common denominator people in the population doesn't mean that they don't also appeal to highfalutin people. Mike Tyson does appeal to fucking morons, sure, because he's a big, strong fucking man. But he also appeals.
He's been a meme for so long too.
But he also appeals to smart people because he's an interesting figure. You could say the same about Kanye West. Kanye West appeals to a lot of fucking retards who just want to see a fucking retard show. But he also appeals to intellectuals. He's an interesting figure.
He's the most interesting rapper.
You could say the same about Donald Trump. Donald Trump may appeal to a lot of fucking retards in like red America, but intellectuals are intrigued by him because
it says bell curve, right? It's the high and low against the midwit meme.
But I'm trying to figure out like that figure in every like field of like American, like what Americans pay attention to. Like they pay attention to what music,
Todd
politics,
Howard
sports.
in video games.
What, Todd Howard can do no wrong? Is that it?
No, I don't know. Appreciating him for re-releasing the same game 16 times.
Well, I do know one thing. Vince McMahon has been replaced by Dana White.
I don't know enough about wrestling.
Well, culturally,
John Cena, I don't know.
I mean, culturally, if you really care about like if you want your finger on the pulse of like what conservatives care about, Monster Truck and WWE are like
yes, very much so. It's a comically pro audience now.
Well, I don't mean to be denigrated. I don't mean to like look down on. I'm not trying to say it like that. I'm just saying like that's what the kind of stuff they're into. And honestly, I could get into it. Like. I'm the kind of like...
When I went to the Bronx Trump rally, it really was the lowest common denominator of a whole bunch of different groups. There was all these inbred Orthodox Jews, people from Long Island, blacks and Hispanics, various cranks.
They're either outcast because they're retards or they're outcast because they're of some unfortunate circumstance. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean...
It was the only conservative event I ever went to where there's women with ass. They're all Dominicanas.
Yeah. Shit. I just had one more thing to say about... I forgot what it was, though. Something about wrestling. Let Nah, it probably wasn't that important. But yeah, something. I'm the kind of like undercover agent where it's like I would get really into this shit. You know, like even though I have a job to do, even though it's like, wait, so how do you produce the cocaine? It's like fascinating, and you use this chemical compound to cure it. Like, that's why I don't think I could ever study a culture just to like denigrate it. You know,
Mm.
I'll get too interested. You know, I'll be like,
It's hard not to. Human cultures are so interesting, and people are so interesting.
yeah, exactly. I don't think there's to me. I don't think there's a single culture I hate.
Yeah, same.
Honestly, like I mean, there's certain cultural practices, and trends I criticize heavily, but I don't hate a single culture.
I don't know. They're just all so delightful. Certainly, I'm sure plenty of them are certainly very unpleasant to live in, and I'm glad I don't live in them. I'm glad I don't live in Afghanistan.
You're thinking of India? Oh,
India
Afghanistan.
too, yeah.
I don't know. I heard white men like India.
I guess if you're inclined to go there, you're just naturally inclined to like it.
I think if like a lot of white guys go there for work, you know, by circumstance.
I've heard a decent number hate it just for the smell or the busyness or all the nagginess.
Yeah, but we live in New York. It's not that much.
I've heard India is much worse than New York.
I would imagine I eat my words. It's like we go to India together, and then you're like looking at me like, "What's the matter, Chris?" Like I thought you said it wasn't that much worse, and
you're like, "Wow, I can't believe everything smells like shit." And New York is like the freshest smelling place compared to India.
It's like we're sitting at a restaurant. I like see this cup of water. Even this cup of water smells like shit.
Yeah.
This chair smells like shit. Like this plate smells like shit. I don't know. Somehow my hair smells like shit. It's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
What would we do in India? I don't know. I would try to go to the nice places.
I think going to Nepal gives you a lot of the Indian experience, but better. I think there are big middle class sections, I know, but it's only because the population's so high. It still has a lot of poverty.
Man, I wish we were like around in the 20s, just traveling.
20s, yeah, 20s would be wonderful to travel.
And I meet you in Egypt, and it's like you would be like, what would now be considered racist, but say, "Oh, hello, my Oriental friend. Good seeing you here. What are you doing in Cairo?"
Well, it's just how British guys interacted then.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of The Mummy with Brendan Fraser?
Hell yeah.
Indiana Jones?
Who isn't? That's a great fucking movie. It's a great film.
When was the last time there was a lighthearted period piece? Like a lighthearted action film, but it was set not in the distant past, but like, say, like the 20s or 30s.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes, or I was thinking Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yes. That was a period piece.
Mm-hmm. I think there's cultural factors working against it.
There's also the King's Man.
Yeah, the King's Man, yeah.
I really grew to love like British action, British cinema, British
Well,
stuff.
Vince Vaughn, or whatever. No, something Vaughn.
There's also
Matthew Vaughn.
There's also Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. That shit is cool. Like British gangster shit is cool. You know, it reminds me of like Korean stuff. You know, like Korean stuff is very nuanced, very Korean when you watch it. Same thing with British stuff. Like, yeah, they speak English, so it's really easy to follow, but it's really uniquely British. Like when you consider their culture, when you consider their kind of like criminal underworld and all that shit.
Perhaps the romanticization of it or the language. Both of them have had a spat of recent gangster productions, I know.
It's because they had the right. Honestly, I think a large part of these trends like that has to do with supply and demand of the talent within the acting pool. Right now, like Britain has a lot to pull from. They got like, or maybe they're just gonna get more and more because they had like Tom Hardy. He's working really hard, you know. It's
I
like,
guess he's in the top years of his life for acting.
yeah.
Probably trying to make as much money as possible during it.
And Britain also always had like top talent. There was Benedict Cucumber, Pumpkin Patch.
You're not going with Sean Connery or Michael Caine?
There's him. I just saw Batman Begins today, so yeah, I was also thinking of Michael Caine. He's awesome.
That classic Michael Caine tweet. Why do we fall down, Mr. Wayne? To pick ourselves up. Batman Begin. Michael Caine. Let me see. I don't want to distract myself by looking at my phone too much, but the exact way he framed that tweet, the actual Michael Caine account, which is clearly run by him, was delightful.
He must have looked at Twitter as like, like chipping away some inscription on.
I think he's an old guy and he's just interacting in it with a delightfully boomer way.
Yeah, like leaving your mark in the digital realm.
Yeah,
that's how I'd look at it. As Michael Caine. Yeah, so we like British cinema. The British know how to make movies. I'm sure they make a ton of bad shit. Everyone makes bad stuff. Some more than others.
Yeah.
I'm actually spoiled as an American because once you've had a taste of like super duper big budget military fiction, no other country's military fiction could ever stack up. It's always cheesy. Very, very, very cheesy in comparison. Even Britain's.
Oh, yes, very much so. So much of the world has tried to copy or emulate American blockbusters to very little effect.
No, but specifically...
all of like Indian cinema, mainstream cinema, masala films have been copying Mission Impossible 2.
No, I mean specifically, though, like military fiction. Like when it comes to the tech and the tactics and all that shit, like once you see like enough American shit, like you're like what you said, blockbuster shit. It's like it doesn't compare. They all try to copy it. They all try to just mimic it.
That's a huge flaw with Luc Besson, the director of Leon the Professional, is that he really did a lot in making French film more like America's to his detriment.
I did see a interesting movie called War on Everyone with Skarsgård and that Mexican guy that's showing up a lot.
Michael Pena?
Yeah. You know who I mean, the short one. The short funny guy.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
Serious.
You're a Michael Pena head.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've seen a lot of his stuff, yeah. So there's Michael Pena and Alexander Skarsgård, and it was made by a British guy. So basically, he was making an American movie, but as British a style as possible. I think I showed it to you.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You're right, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because the British banter is too witty for American casting and setting.
It's a real tonal clash, yeah.
Yeah. But it was interesting, I guess. I'm glad I saw it. Some of it was cute. But yeah, man, military fiction in America, nothing will ever... I mean, the action is cool, but I feel like other countries can do action in their own ways just as good. What are you laughing about?
I'm just thinking of a guy. I'm really being retarded. I'm just thinking of a guy named Peter Penishead.
I was thinking one time I laughed because I read the name Victor Penis. That's a good one, right? Victor Penis.
Such a retard. I'm sorry, continue.
No, it's fine. I completely understand. I spent a lot of time, like when I used to work out of an office, I would go on the Cumtown fan discords, and that's where I would hear like the most retarded shit, honestly.
Yeah, from the fandom. That makes sense. The fandom for a very stupid podcast would have a very stupid fandom.
I didn't know it would be that stupid, because like when I saw what was going on, it was like 19-year-old kids, and that's what made me feel really uncomfortable. I was like, oh, this isn't good. Like, because I realized it wasn't just like dudes listening to this shit. It was like children. Like I was like, holy fuck, like that's not a good sign.
I mean, as I said before, it's just shock jock. It's just Howard Stern level stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just Howard Stern stuff without the FCC.
I don't know, because like it's not like you could. It wasn't as interactive, because you didn't know where Howard Stern went to eat. You didn't know where Howard Stern hung out. You didn't know.
Yeah, he lives in New York City because he's a Jew.
But you didn't know where to find the people.
That's true.
The crowd and the scene that Howard Stern hung out with. You couldn't access them. Whereas with like
there's no funny moms for it.
But with podcasters are a lot more accessible. It's a lot easier.
A lot more stalkable, a lot more fuckable.
You're right. It's a lot easier to feel like you're involved with that it's a deeper level of parasocial relationship, in my opinion. Which is exactly what we're cultivating. We're trying to anyway.
Hoping to, yeah. We want people to stalk us because we're lonely and need friends.
No, we don't. I don't think we need friends.
No, we
Listen,
don't.
I don't
We
think
don't.
we need. I think that's the opposite of what we need. I was thinking about this today. Actually, I was like, I'm probably at a
I
point.
thought about this a lot, about reducing the number of friends I have, even though I love them.
It's not about. Yeah, to me, it's not even about like doing anything bad to them just by reducing the number of. I'm just saying, it's like. It's just time. It's time management. That's what I'm thinking about. It's like literally closing the faucet in one and turning a different faucet on because you only have so much water to pay. You know, you got to pay that damn water bill every month. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's literally managing faucets to me of like energy and time, you know, like directed energy and time. Not to get all esoteric and metaphysical on you motherfuckers, but it's that simple. Morality has nothing to do with it, even though you should try to be a moral person, I guess. But yeah, you don't have to think of it in terms of being a good friend or a bad friend. Just think of it as like you only have so much of it. And other people won't understand that. Especially if they're unreasonable people. They'll be like, what's more important than me? Literally, someone has actually said that to me, those exact words. I was like, oh man. And then
Good point.
yeah. They ended up losing their mind afterwards,
Yeah, I'm not
literally.
surprised.
Yeah. But we had I don't know. I guess when a relationship like goes on long enough, the boundaries kind of like crumble, you know?
Yeah.
That's what happens in any relationship between family, friends, coworkers. But, you know, when you're experienced enough in life, it's like friendships made in your 30s are different because, you know, you got a lot of shit out of the way. It's not like
It's also more intentional, I suppose. As opposed to friends, they're there because they're people you hang out with all the time. Because you're open to a lot of different things. You only tried a lot of different things because you're young and you don't fully know yourself.
Also, when you're like 15 and you could be like really tight with another like, you know, guy your age, and then you get super tight. But it's like at that age,
So tight that you start reading dirty magazines together.
but at that age, exactly, it's shit like that. It's weird shit. It's like you're eventually gonna want to fuck the same girl, and then that's gonna get between you, you know. And it's like, or it's like that's when life starts to get tough for the first time for both of you, and then you start like getting like insecure about like your futures respectively and towards each other, and it's all sorts of weird shit. But after you're 30, it's like that's pretty much behind it, you know. It's like.
Yeah.
It's either we've already had our divorces, we've already been to been to jail, we've already been to Alcoholics and whatever the case is for any individual, you know. We've already been to World War II, you know, we've already got that behind us. Although it would have been more badass if we were the generation that survived World War II, but unfortunately, we are a lot more worthless than that.
Yeah, Greatest Generation had a lot going for them there. If only just that.
Yeah, better music, better booze, better food.
I don't know about food. No, their food was definitely worse.
That's not true.
They had they didn't have as much variety of it, and there was less of a focus on high
you're right.
quality.
And
also,
was
there
thinking
wasn't
of-
as much plentiful meat as we
I was
have.
thinking of less like microplastic food and shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
But even as that's increased, we've had a higher variety of really high-end food that they didn't have access to. They
like
just
moon
went,
cheese.
Yeah, you need a different ethnicities restaurant every day.
You could go into
whereas they just went once a month to the ethnic meeting hall and had some mediocre browse and like cabbage or whatever.
You could go into any eatery and generally fulfill every single food group.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That's why in America,
They were big on cafeterias, I know, because of Great Depression.
well, let's be real. A lot of people shat on it for a while. A lot of people still shit on it. A lot of people, which is, I never agreed with it. You know, even when people like railed against McDonald's and fast food, I was always like, hey, I love McDonald's, okay? I like McDonald's. McDonald's is it's a staple in the American economy. And also, you have to, first of all, you have to learn how to consume it right. There's a right way to do McDonald's. Like, a lot of people don't do it right. A lot of people either overdo it or they just waste their money on stupid shit. And also, it's like a certain lifestyle matches McDonald's. You know, like if you work like, I don't know, fucking 12 hours a day for shit pay, McDonald's is a lifesaver. Like I was a bike messenger. McDonald's is great. Free bathroom. dollar cheeseburgers, dollar double cheeseburgers.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's cheap. You're getting a lot of calories.
Place to charge your phone.
You know, McDonald's across America have really taken the role of a third space. This is less so in New York.
I've read articles about what you're saying. Yeah,
it's a common statement. Like in Middle America, much of America, McDonald's are like a community center.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely
it's fitting
is.
that has replaced the church as the community center.
And I actually like the experience of McDonald's. Now, do I think McDonald's is an ethical company? Probably not. I mean, I know what McDonald's is not. People think of McDonald's, they think it's the company. I mean, the company McDonald's, not the brand, the actual corporation. People think it's a food company. People think it's a restaurant company. It's not. McDonald's is primarily a real estate company.
Yes, I've heard this take, and it's true. It's about the right location.
Yeah.
And in fact, the third space usage is proof that it's really about real estate.
Absolutely. The fact that they cultivate more than, because if they wanted
Chris
to,
Anarde or Anard, whatever, his series of photographs taken in like Red State McDonald's really showcases this.
if they wanted to, they didn't have to serve like 2 out of 5 star food. They could easily serve 3 out of 5 star food and make it affordable, but they would probably have to make like, you know, they would have to concede on certain things about like the communal aspect, being a communal hub and being a real estate company primarily.
They probably couldn't get as much talent as easily as they do.
Exactly.
Because it would require more talented people.
And what they really want is just more locations at the right locations. That's really the focus.
And many of the places they have locations don't have the talent pool for better chefs, nor does it have the demand or interest.
But what honestly though, it's like you're right. It is cheap calories. That's like the main thing.
Yeah.
It's affordable. It's like if you gave a bum like $5, he could at least get McDonald's.
At one time, yeah.
Yeah, one time. But fuck yeah, McDonald's. I liked it. And now it's all developed. It's all developed, reaching its natural conclusions, right? Like now instead of fast food, we have fast casual food, and the real first like. The first big player of fast casual that made an actual steeple was Chipotle, which McDonald's.
Modern fast casual, I guess you could say, because before fast food restaurants, you had like various diners across America. People used to eat at inns, and there was often food poisoning and things like that.
Well, diners came before McDonald's. Like,
yeah, they did. Yeah, and the whole idea of a diner was it showed up on a rail car. They unloaded that rail car, and you set up your business.
But the thing about McDonald's was kind of killed the diners because it was way more efficient. Like at a diner, it was a process.
Yeah.
But at a McDonald's, like kids could just park up in their fucking muscle cars and hot rods or whatever, and just like hang out and just chill.
Yeah,
and
the development of fast food. I know it develops in what, 30s, 40s?
they could walk into a joint and walk out with
Yeah.
a bag of cheeseburgers. Like, what was better than that? Especially that they were just coming out of what, like a food shortage, because America wasn't always food abundant. Like a lot of Zoomers and a lot of millennials don't even know this, is that America wasn't always. The fact that we have a fat people problem is weird for America.
And weird for all of human history.
Actually, you know what? You're right. That's totally true. Like the fact that we have a food abundance problem is weird and novel.
And even in like the 1950s, we had food abundance, even though the quality was lower, it was a lot shittier, things wasn't as tasty.
Yeah, because we were known as the breadbasket.
Yeah, like people were starving everywhere else in the world, but in America, people had enough to eat, even if it wasn't great food.
You know, when it comes to history, I think I'm only knowledgeable really about American history, which means the brainwashing worked.
Actually, most people don't know anything about history at all, so.
Well, I think it's because I do a lot of research on like mechanical stuff. Like when I build bikes, I was like, who invented this shit? And then that would lead me down rabbit holes, which would lead to the natural like titans of industry, like the Rockefellers and all that shit. But like,
I mean, just how much of industrialization happened in America in the late 19th.
Well, that's another thing. Like
century,
industrialization,
such an early first mover. In it.
And industrialization studies always like for me links into the psychological studies, because industrialization era is when collectively we started going through a mass secular shift.
Yeah.
that's really what caused it. It was industrialization. We used to be a lot more like traditional and a lot more.
Well, America went through different waves of religiosity. Like people were more religious in the 1830s than they were in 1776.
Yeah, but I'm not saying industrial.
But no. Industrialization was mass disenchantment, as per Nietzsche.
I don't even want to say that. I think it's not even like industrialization killed religion and tradition. What industrialization did was just embed secularism as its own culture, as its own.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it, because it's not until like the 70s that you start seeing a widespread secularization.
Yeah.
60s, 70s, yeah, even if you have an earlier wave of it, fair.
Yeah. So, because I can't sit here and say like, oh, all the Jews got wiped out. Or I can't sit here and say all the Christians got wiped out either. It's like, no, they're still kicking. In fact, they adapted, so
yeah,
really it's just secularism. If anything, now you have more secular Christians. You have...
Well, yes, of course, more secular everything.
Mm-hmm. More secular Jews, more secular Catholics, more secular Muslims. Definitely more secular. Every time you see a quote-unquote Muslim girl who's not wearing a hijab, it's like, they call it reformist.
Yeah.
Which you'll find in every religion, which is also part of industrialization. You can't reform something unless, like without the concept of like engineering something to be better. You still got another beer left, right?
Yeah, I do.
I was just thinking that. You want me to help you with it?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Because you feel, I see.
You can tell me slowing down, yeah.
No, I mean, it's all good. Like, we're going from Thursday to Monday.
Thursday to Monday.
Recording.
Oh yeah, that's true. Recording very close together.
I mean, dude, I'm not even worried about the scheduling. As long as me and you get 4 episodes a month at least, then that's it. That's all we need to do. But the last episode, I think, with the edit. I mean, look,
the edit is a huge improvement. Honestly, I would almost want to drop it to 3 episodes a month, hold me out, and do more live recordings.
If I could actually rely more on the third man, yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, like 3 or 2 episodes a month. As long as there's a lot of outside footage in it.
So that means but then we would have to commit like at least another. But that's just hanging out.
Yeah,
it's just Richie has to want to do like be. It's you know what I understand. It's like when it comes to being a content creator, what in any capacity.
Yeah.
When you're a wagey, it's hard, and I'm still technically
true.
a wagey. Don't get me wrong. It's just I work from home, so it's like it's a little more flexible. But it's also like I could imagine if I had to work at like a fucking construction site every day. I don't want to fucking make videos and produce videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I work like 3 or 4 days a week, and I work nights, which is different because he'll mention he said like I would go, but I have work tomorrow morning.
When's your last lease up at the trap house?
Month to month.
What do you mean? So it's at any given time they could just be like, get the fuck out?
Oh no, it'd be at any given time they could, and then it'd be probably a few months for it all to go through.
When do you think that would be?
I don't know. It's dependent on like my neighbor.
Well, if that happens and like I'm single, I'll get a place with you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
I'll consider it. It's like get a nice 2-bedroom place. Maybe it'd be nice to have a roommate again.
I don't want to be in Staten Island though.
No, we could live in I don't know, Queens or something.
Queens or Brooklyn.
I don't want to live in Brooklyn though. Brooklyn sucks.
Queens I would do for sure.
Queens. Manhattan, if we could find a place, would be sick, but it's like
I don't want to spend Manhattan private, but like Ridgewood or something where it's Queens but it's adjacent to Brooklyn.
Yeah, or LIC.
Yeah,
LIC would be sick.
That would be pricey, but yeah, it would be sick actually. Yeah,
but that might be like way too expensive.
I think LIC would be too expensive. Ridgewood, I think, would be possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, see, I think like hear me out. If we did have an apartment though, like a 2-bedroom place, I think we could make some kind of like income generating content thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to not have to rely on, look, current employee stuff, employer stuff like aside, I'm always grateful for that. It's not that I hate, anyone's employers, myself, my own employers included. It's just, it would be nice to have recurring revenue where you don't have to rely on like a company, an entity, to facilitate that. It was just nice to be that entity. Even if it's a little bit. I'm not even saying like it has to be everything. Just a little bit would be nice, because it does like add up. But like I said, I think the edit came out good. And even if like people can't see the vision now,
It will be emerging.
yeah. That's how I usually handle progress. I take it a bite at a time, where it's like it's not really about like a big, swing. It's just mostly about the little bigger swings that I do
Yeah. The
every day.
bigger
Yeah.
dick swings you're doing every day while maintaining semen retention.
Semen retention, yeah. I mean, I've
Could
been
you hand me those papers?
yeah.
I should have said that when there was a pause when I was describing things and saying thank you, as opposed to moving at that very moment. Go on.
I mean, I haven't been retaining much semen because I've been on stupid Tinder dates.
Nice. Yeah, you're so horny. You're just going on random Tinder dates with women you're not attracted to because you need release.
I guess you could. I mean, it's the non-charitable.
Very
way
relatable. I could really relate to that.
That's a very non-charitable way to call it. Yeah, it's just.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. But it's just there. It's available.
Instead of masturbating, you're masturbating with a fat girl's pussy.
They're not always fat. Sometimes they're fat.
You're just busted.
They're not always busted either.
I'm sorry.
But you're right. It's like, it's cool to be around not fat and pretty. Like, pick two.
Damn. I can only pick two from not fat and pretty. Then I'm going to pick not fat and pretty.
Not fat and pretty, but not fun to be around.
Oh.
So you can only pick you only get 2 out of 3.
I see.
But that's
I probably would still go with not fat and pretty. Because I'm used to hanging out with women that aren't fun to be around, but they're...
That's a dark side choice, but you chose well.
Yeah, there's so many just crazy, insane, anorexic women I fucked.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind I don't mind, like, it's... Maybe I'm just, like, too old to, like, compromise. I just don't...
Yeah.
I'd rather be alone than commit to something I don't want to commit to.
Fuck, I fucked this up again, as usual.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably fine, yeah.
Let me see.
No, it's not, but...
All right, let me roll it.
Fuck, okay.
We'll share it.
Thanks.
We'll share the labor. And also, it's not your fault because the tobacco is like old and dry.
It is old and dry, you're right. I don't know.
There's a fresher pack over there.
I want to get good at rolling cigarettes. That's something I like to do. I should just buy rolling papers and get good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nimble Asian fingers.
That's true, too. You have a higher dexterity than me, but yes.
That's always the word people use. When they say I have nimble Asian fingers, they're like plus 10 dexterity.
Yes, because you're surrounded by nerds who have a very video game way of framing it. But it makes perfect sense once you accept that framing or start thinking of that way, that kind of D&D terms.
I always thought it was because my dad was like the only son with like a bunch of sisters.
Yeah.
And I was also raised by my grandmother primarily. So it was just my dad and a bunch of my aunts. So I would watch a lot of women like work and do shit with their hands. And I got older and I realized like most people, especially guys, but a lot of women too, are very clumsy with their fucking hands. Like
that's very true nowadays. Yeah. As opposed to people all throughout human history doing a lot with their hands. Unlike us, just masturbating with our hands.
Yeah, but then again, when you do become like more, when you have more craftsmen, when you cultivate craftsman hands, you get better at masturbating, right? Because
it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a carpenter could finger that pussy like super good.
That's true. That's why women have hand fetishes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, women are very tactily inclined when it comes to pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most seductive ways to communicate with a woman. Like when you're holding hands and then you do funny shit with your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite games to play with one of my exes a while back, a long time ago, I was like young, was we would like use your finger to like draw something on their back. It's like try to guess what I'm writing.
Yeah.
That was always a fun game. I like playing that.
And it would be easy to guess with me because every single time I'm just drawing a penis on their back.
Oh, it's like, guess what word I'm spelling? I don't know. I don't know what word you would spell. Maybe you would spell the
No,
other
I'd
way.
spell that. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I don't even know what word I would spell. Depends on my mood, really. But that is a fun game. Another fun game is when you kiss, and then it's like, all right, try to guess what word I'm spelling with my tongue.
And once again, it's N.
Yeah, that's some
Thank you.
that's some teenager shit. That's
Yeah.
some like shit I picked up in high school for sure. Like lower to upper middle class white kids are some slutty children. You know, like when I was hanging out with them as teens, we did some stupid shit, downright dirty shit.
A fine cigarette roll.
Cheers. And it didn't feel that incestuous. Maybe Staten Island is just the perfect the perfect ecosystem for.
I think if
degeneracy.
you're not directly doing this stuff with your relatives, it's not that incestuous.
No, when I say
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. But thinking about it, I think anything larger than a very small community, it's acceptable then.
Well, yeah, when I say incestuous, it's because what you would see in any like town-like area is like cliques, you know, like social groups.
Yeah.
And when you see relationships happen between in those social groups, like that's like disgusting. You know, it's like it is incestuous because
Well, I don't know. We're thrown off by being in cities, I think.
well, as a kid, as a teenager, you can't see it, but as an adult, it becomes fully clear. It's like, dude, you're gonna break up the fucking band, man.
Yeah. I don't know. You're just horny and short-sighted when you're young, I suppose.
Well, it's also like I think it's also an investment of time and balance. If there's a girl in your friend group and you're getting the hots for her, it probably means you're spending too much time with
With her, yeah.
that friend group too. You know,
That's a good role.
it's like, yo, it's time for you to find like,
Other people, yeah.
and you become a better person for your OG friend group anyway if you go out and explore a bit and come back. But then it would feel shitty when it's like another one of your boys in the group got with her anyway, and it's like, what the fuck? That could have been me. I could have been that friend. You know, I could have been the friend that had, you know, and you already feel sick because you're imagining at the wedding, it's like the best man, but it's like you're thinking, it's like, I could have been that guy. This is what I'm saying. It's messy, incestuous.
Yeah, it does when you have a small social scene. You're like lesbians within that community.
Yeah, pretty much. I've experienced that, which is why I'm not doing that now. Like, you know, I've
Yeah, it
learned-
makes sense, actually. It's for the best to avoid it.
Yes.
Now, I've seen this with social scenes of everyone fucking the same people and the messy relationship dynamics bleeding over into the friend group.
Usually in any you gotta pee. Oh, nice. Yeah, good man. Get that second beer. Let's bring it on home. Give me a cup too. Give me a glass too. Carmen is now getting a second beer.
Yeah,
It has the word-
wearing the headphones is so tiresome.
It has the word black on the bottle.
That's true. It's called Black Boss Porter. What the libs want for your future.
Oh my god. It's like a reflex for you to make racial jokes.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, I know. Very predictable.
Why do you say predictable? I don't mean predictable. I find it comforting. But
Oh,
you
that's
don't
very kind, actually. I like that.
but you don't-
Comforting, yeah.
but you don't want to be comforted. Say, I'm
I
not,
want to make people uncomfortable like I am all the time.
I want to make people gasp. Okay, I'm going for
With
gasps.
horror. I'm certainly not making the girls gasp.
You're making the girls oddly enough super into it.
That's true. No, they're gasping, all right.
Yeah, when it comes to social circles, to avoid the over investment, I think I usually like just pick the most the coolest person out of the social group, and then just like form a strong connection with them. Because what else is there?
Yeah.
You just
It's sweet, very malty. It's kind of like a malted milk beverage, this beer. Has another millennial coating, a beer review.
It's a black boss nut.
Mhm.
That's what it tastes like. That is really good.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like something I tasted as a little kid.
What is it, your cousins?
Dirty magazines. Dirty magazine spunk.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, it's because the thing is on the screen. All right. this Kanye West tweet has been on the screen this whole time for a while now.
That's true, actually. I forgot about that.
It's
yeah.
subliminally affecting us. It's working.
It's working. I mean, you found it. You were tickled pink with delight at it.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's one of the it's one of the defined
All-time bangers.
Yeah. I mean, there's people a lot more famous than me, I know, that are going to be reacting to this in a big way. Like there's going to be
Guys various rappers who suck their cousin's dick are going to be reacting to this.
Yeah. And Kanye West is like one of the biggest, not just rappers, but let's be real, one of the biggest black men in the world.
Yeah.
Like
artists, yeah.
Yeah. Like one of the biggest black male artists in the world. He's a billionaire.
Very blackmailable blackmail artist.
A self-made billionaire. I mean, by that standard alone, impressive, but also the standard of like, apparently it's a white man's world, and for a black man to bring himself.
Well, he would say a Jew man's world.
But it's a Jew man's world, according to Kanye.
It's a Jew boy's world.
And as a black man in the Jew man's world, he pulled himself by his bootstraps.
Yeah.
Which is why he's also a conservative success story.
Yeah, with losing his family, getting addicted to nitrous oxide.
You could kill that.
Yeah, his Hitler posting.
God damn it, Kanye. Kanye, why you gotta crash out? You could have just kept your gayness a secret. First of all, you didn't have to say this. Like, everyone knows all gay, all macho black rappers are. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna get shot. Like, I don't want to get shot.
Yeah,
I don't want to get shot.
Okay, all rappers are gay.
What about athletes?
They're all gay.
What about actors?
Gay.
What about mathematicians?
Straight. Almost all straight or trans women. Who are also straight men.
The worst is if they're like if you're a trans MTF trans but also a lesbian. That's like the awkwardest position to be in.
Also a lesbian, so a straight man.
Yeah. Kanye West. You think Kanye West would transition?
Yes, I could totally see Kanye transitioning.
We're like on the same frequency. I could tell.
Yeah, it's like Kanye West would transition. He'll be welcomed back with open arms.
Oh my God. Kanye West has truly been on a cultural journey. He's like I think he is the reincarnation of Alan Watts.
He's really a spiritual sojourner.
He is. He's explored Jesus. He's explored Hollywood.
He's exploring Hitler.
He's explored children. I mean, I don't mean like nefariously. I mean, when I say he's explored children, like he's literally like, when it comes to like certain inspirations for music he's made, he's asked like kids that he saw for like at choirs, like during projects. He was like, "What do you?"
You ever suck your cousin's dick?
Oh no. This is causing some kind of scarring to my psyche. I know. It. But yeah, this is good. I mean, Kanye West is
Grace, the gayest of all time.
But it's also fucked up because you got all the more, like, you have way more gangster rappers than Kanye West, right? Like laughing at him, but then Kanye West is still like, I got more money than you. What do you rap about all day? Having more money than other people, right? Well, guess what? I have more money than you. So it's
you also beat all of those gangster rappers in the aughts anyway.
What do you mean beat them? Like in fights?
Just being such a fantastic musician.
Yeah, you think would you say he's talented?
Oh, extremely. I'm a big fan. It's a very wide opinion of me, but I think Kanye is the greatest rapper of all time.
That's like a white dude saying Black Panther is like the greatest MCU movie of all time.
There aren't many very good MCU films. Black Panther is not it. What?
I was going to say Black Panther is pretty good. I like it. Black Panther to me is a good hat trick.
Yeah, it's a fascinating movie because it's about a white CIA agent and a black George W. Bush conservative interventionist king fighting a BLM organizer.
Killing a BLM organizer.
Yeah,
in some
it's an
fictional
incredibly
African,
right-wing film.
in a fictional African death ritual.
Yeah, it's an incredibly right-wing film, and everything about it feels like it was written by racists.
The weird part is, it's like it would make more sense if it was like a Tom Clancy movie, as opposed to some like black African Black Panther type, deal, right? Like it would make more sense if it was this like exploitive, like Republican Reaganite, like glorified military fiction, special ops, CIA shit. But no,
It was basically that, but yeah,
But no, they tried to frame it as
more insidious as a
yeah. It's like they had
Afrocentrist work.
yeah, they had more 808 drops and fast hi-hat rolls, like like boom boom just no rapper, and instead you hear African chanting. I mean, it sounds racist just describing it. Seriously, like
Yeah.
I mean, and it just
It
went.
seems incredibly racist, and so many people miss that.
Yeah, it's like it's the kind of, but this is why I say it's a genius. It's like it appeals to both smart racists and stupid liberals. Like it's a good movie.
Stupid liberals, blacks.
Well, Jews. I'm sure a lot of Jews were like, I'm gonna go see Black Panther.
That's true.
Whereas
It's hilarious that a massive blockbuster film got seen as a cultural watermark and a countercultural resistance.
it was really cringe watching the producers like talk about it. Like I feel like it's a very important moment and defining moment in culture. It's probably the most
it's an
important work in my
MCU
life.
release. They were literally able to utilize or weaponize race mania in the late 2010s to sell a Marvel blockbuster.
And they were saying like, I realize how important this role is. I feel like, especially with all that's going on in politics, that I have to really set an example and make a clear mark about what it is this movie is going to represent about culture and our culture. And he has to say,
It's wild how the one black American character is the deranged villain.
yeah, right? That's
Yeah.
fucked up. He was the good guy. He did nothing wrong. He was like,
Well, no, he did a lot of evil shit for no reason, so that he's justifiable as a villain.
Well, first of all, his whole thing was,
He's a Maoist, yeah.
well, I just thought he said Black Lives Matter, not just Wakanda.
Mhm.
That was his whole shtick. He was like, Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter.
he's a BLM organizer.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he was.
It's about a black Republican king killing a BLM organizer.
I bet you if that movie never came out, BLM would have.
It's about Clarence Thomas choking Barack Hussein Obama out.
It's not even a joke. Like I seriously bet, like fucking, if Black Panther never came out, BLM would have way more support.
I feel like the excesses and manias of 2012 really did them in, but yes.
So yeah, Kanye West's song was like a diary entry for sure.
Yeah.
Some
A
little
confession
girl.
of being molested. Molesting confession.
What you kept saying that? Do you think that's how it was? Like he was molested?
No, actually, I don't know if that's true. I think it probably was just a mutual homosociability thing.
Remember, Kanye was the one who showed him the dirty magazine.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. If anything, Kanye is confessing to being the molester here, and he said that his cousin killing or attacking this pregnant woman he feels partially responsible for.
Maybe the thing is like you're not allowed to be like an artist, like a famous creative artist.
If you don't have blackmailable material,
Yeah, unless you're some sick fucked up, you have some sick fucked up sexual hang up, because that could always be exploited. Or maybe it's even worse. Maybe it's like no matter who you are, if you have any kind of sauce in any creative field, they're going to find some
it's
sex-
certainly maybe a more extreme personality. Maybe you're working harder out of guilt because of what you've done.
Yeah, maybe. But here's Kanye bucking that. This is what I'm saying. Like that whole narrative, what I talked about before. It's like if people were trying to hold it against him to try to exploit him for his deepest, darkest shit, like Nazi stuff, like rhetoric, or fucking him sucking his cousin's dick, they try to like put that against him, and then it's like he just writes songs about it. Then true creative mastermind. I mean, what would you do if you were?
You can't blackmail that. He's just continuing to do his output.
Let this be a lesson for you guys, all right? If someone blackmails you saying, I'm going to make this public,
just release a song about it.
Just release a song about it. And then, like, if everyone says, like, is this true or not? And just be like, you'll never know. Tee-hee, a magician never reveals their secrets. Just be purposely vague. And whoever tries to, like, release information about you, just be like, oh, well, it could be a hoax. Just someone trying to, like, cash in.
I was just pretending to be retarded and pretending to be gay for my cousin when I released that song.
Yeah. You could play the games, you know?
Yeah.
But if the evidence stacks up too well against you, then... Damn, what a good day.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, except for the Pope dying.
Dying and Kanye, the big thing being Kanye sucking his cousin's dick song.
I mean, the Kanye West one is... It's almost like he's competing with the dead Pope for clout. It's like, oh, the Pope dying, think he could be bigger more popular than me? Watch this. Hey, everyone, guess what? I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14.
Yeah.
Goddamn Kanye West. Why would you do this? I wonder what Drake's up to.
Yeah, I wonder how old she is.
You think Drake's a woman?
No, Drake, well, no, he's just being very light-skinned when he interacts with all those 16-year-olds. Drake might be the straightest living celebrity. That would be interesting if Drake was super straight.
The more straighter you are, the cornier you are. The less macho you are.
Yeah, exactly.
The more like girly and bitch-like you become.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't know. I think what usually, like, when you could tell what's gay, it's when people when they go the extremist route. Like, not necessarily macho or feminine, but just extreme, like loud, like face tattoos, wacky outfits.
Yeah, they're all signifiers that this person's unwell or really out there.
Yeah. And Kanye West,
really detached from human society.
Exactly. So who's to say like sexual orientation is even a big deal for them at all, you know?
That's true. He has a level of freedom that other guys would not have.
Pretty much. I mean, that's, to me, like, it's not like, a lot of people like to play that up. It's like, oh, he's so macho, he must be overcompensating, he's probably secretly gay. Like, I don't think that's quite it. I mean, there's guys that are macho, you know, that are just like naturally that way, and then there's guys that are macho like to a comical degree where it's like they take steroids and they have like an American flag bandana with like an eagle on their tank top.
I like the idea of having an American flag bandana and an eagle on my tank top.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That would look pretty tight, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigarette, drinking a Jim Beam from the bottle.
Yeah.
Got your belly button out.
Yeah, navel bearing, yeah.
Yeah. And you got a bucket hat on that says BWC.
Yep. I have my BWC bucket hat on for the 4th of July, baby.
Mm-hmm.
With an American flag bandana underneath it.
Yep. Hells yeah. Or over it like the Puerto Ricans.
Ooh, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Nothing's more American than being Hispanic.
Yeah, it's very true. America's rapidly becoming a Latin American country, so that's true. And it's really a natural fit for it. Perhaps the hemisphere itself just lent that quality to it.
And I think it's basically just a big evolution of Hispanics. First, the Hispanics had the Spanish influence. Then after that, they're going to get the Nordic influence in them. And it's all just going to fuse into this like pseudo-Aztecian...
This new race.
Yeah. The pseudo-Aztecian, Spaniard, Mediterranean / Germanic type people.
La Raza Comica.
And with some Chinese mixed into it, with some Chino blood thrown in there, you know?
Yeah, I know you're desperately leaning into this.
I'm not Chinese. I don't even know what Korean. I think Koreans are gonna die out, just like the Japanese. Honestly,
Yeah, Japan has a lot better survival rate. It seems like
what than Korea?
Korea seems like such a society at war with itself.
Literally, I guess
Yeah.
politically, yeah. But in a sense, I don't know. I think Korea is. It's like they've been pressurized too much, which means
Yeah.
like when you pressurize coal to a certain degree, it's like it turns into diamond,
Yes.
and I think that's what happened. It's like you already got the diamond out of it, like you can't undo that. And
Ooh, yeah. It's been too highly pressed.
also, it's like it's too much of a strategic linchpin for like the East and the West. You know, like
Mm.
the real reason why North Korea and South Korea has not united, it's not because of anything cultural. It's not because North Korea and South Korea actually hate each other. It's because the East and the West can never, ever allow it to happen.
Yeah. Between China and America's geopolitical interests. Yeah.
Think about what it would mean. Yeah,
reunification.
for either,
Also,
yeah.
economically, it'd be a lot more difficult than reunification of East and West Germany.
First of all, if they reunite, China could kiss Taiwan goodbye. China
Yeah.
would not be able to take Taiwan if Korea unified. Second of all, America would lose a major stronghold. Suddenly, like they would have like an unknown on the field of their like one of their soft underbelly, basically, which is the West Coast.
Yeah. I've said before that I feel like the most likely reunification would be if South Korea opens itself up to North Korean immigrants for labor.
No, I don't think that's what. I think reunification, like that, already happens. You get plenty of deserters from North Korea. You get plenty
No,
of.
like work share, like guest worker permits from North Koreans. So I guess
No, you have
kind
plenty of
run away.
exchange. You've already have plenty of exchanges. There's so many exchanges where like North Korean families are allowed to like come live with their South Korean counterparts who've already ended up in the country. You know, they already had plenty of. It's literally because both sides of the world cannot allow it to happen. It would be as bad as if like Israel and Palestine just unified. You know?
That'd make things so much easier if Israel and Palestine unified.
No.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, yeah, because it would be the end of the world.
No, I mean, if Palestinians were all allowed to convert to Judaism and then just merged with Israel as a country, everything would be fine.
What if like Jews were allowed to merge with Islam?
It makes more sense in the context of Israel, I think, for the Palestinians to convert
You're
to
basically
Judaism.
saying the Jews are superior to the Muslims, which is true, because there would
Yeah.
be no Muslims without Jews, just as there would be no Christians without Jews.
Especially in the Holy Lands with Israel and Palestine, allowing that and just burying it so that everyone can...
Someone actually took offense to that, by the way.
Who?
I forgot who, but I posted. I was like, when it comes to anyone's political beliefs, you only have to ask them two questions that will tell you everything you need to know in their answers. First question is, do you believe in God? Second question is, how do you feel about Jews? And how they answer those two questions will tell you everything that you need to know about them, about their political beliefs, which is true. You could surmise everything out of that. Because it takes a lot of legwork out of every other assumption or possible assumption. It's like, do you believe in God? Yes or no? No? All right, you're probably a fucking liberal then. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yes, and I'm anti-Semitic. I love and hate Jews at the same time.
I said I was pretty ambivalent about Jews as well.
Yeah. No, for me, it's extremes. It's either one way or the other.
Oh, it's not like the middle ground. It's like for you, it's like the I love this, but I fucking hate this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Now I love this, but I cannot stand this.
You can tell because I've been in multiple romantic relationships with Jews. So as a result, I can only love or hate them or love or hate their qualities.
Yeah. It's a certain type of programming, not even of psychological programming. It's deeper. It's like spiritual programming. Because it doesn't. The tuning is beyond your rationality, right? It doesn't even make you think necessarily rationally. It just makes you think more in line with Adonai or Yahweh or whatever. Apparently, there's 70-something names for God.
Yeah.
We still got to go to church together.
That's true. What kind of church would we go to?
First, we would go to a Korean church, then we go to a waspy church, then we
What
would.
would be the Korean church? Catholic or Protestant?
I think it would only be Presbyterian, right?
Yeah, so Protestant.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine a Protestant Korean church.
No, that's Presbyterian is Protestant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Presbyterians are a kind of Protestant.
Are they more liberal and lax than Protestant?
They're pretty conservative. It depends. More conservative than like Episcopalian, but that's not.
I feel
saying
like
anything at all.
Presbyterians would be better served for cultures like Koreans or Irish or Russians.
Koreans are the only group to adopt it of those three.
I think the Irish would be good Presbyterians, and so would Russians.
Interesting. Well, let's see. I know that like a third of Korea is Catholic, a third is Presbyterian, and a third is atheist. Or maybe it's like a fourth for all of these. And
Well,
like
for
a
Koreans?
fourth are Buddhists, and then a fourth are atheists. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe there's more wiggle room between those different categories than we'd understand or think of.
I don't agree with any of them. Not even Buddhism. I think Buddhism is kind of a little too defeatist. I think the Christianity,
Too nihilistic.
and I think the Christianity stuff is too. It's not Gnostic enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Jesus was just great and all, but the thing is, everyone is latently Jesus. It's just committing to that path. If you want to be Jesus, you can. It's just you have to commit to that path, which means everyone is technically the son of God, which is on a Gnostic level true. Like in terms of gnosis, it's like this to be true because all things are the creation of God. Yes, yes, we are all just fractalizations of the Godhead in that sense. Yes, including our souls. Yes, because God created everything, spiritually, materially, mentally, all of it. Therefore, we are sons of God in all technicality. Even demons, all creations of God.
Yeah.
Everything is a creation of God. All evil, all good, all darkness, all light. That's why I can't jive with Christians. I can't fully jive with Jews. I can't fully jive with Muslims. It's like I don't agree with any of the Abrahamics. I really don't, because I do think there's a higher level to it. I don't think because again, it's like if you look at, it's not about focusing and committing to one of these things. It's just if you cross-reference them and see the similarities, you discover a lot of you see a pattern, an emergent pattern of what they're all sort of going for.
Yeah.
And the fact that we are able to do that is very significant too. The fact that we're able to look at and cross-reference the teachings of
All these different religious faiths.
and their creation myths,
Yes.
which also leads to some weird, rabbit holes.
Excuse me.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to connect with a girl while I'm talking to you. I'm checking my phone far more than I would normally.
No, that's the perfect mindset I would want you in in a podcast, like hopped up, like vaguely horny, but also kind of frustrated and multitasking.
Yeah, I've been frustrated for too long,
No,
so I
it's
need to
good.
be more. I'm trying to jump.
I want you to be neurotic.
Right now, I
want you to
want
be
to jump
frazzled.
on every chance to have sex that I can. Not
Yeah.
for a long-term thing, but for a short-term thing to get my head back in the game and more self-confident.
That's the wrong way to look at it, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. What you should do, just retain your mana. Just retain your
Yeah,
semen.
retain my semen, but I want to fuck women.
Retain your semen, but fuck women. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Retain your semen. But
I
fuck-
agree with this. I agree with this strategy.
Well, I mean,
Something I wanna do.
you probably shouldn't fuck women, but me saying that would be hypocritical. So it's like,
I think for a brief period of time or some period of time, I should go back to doing that.
what, fucking women?
Yes.
Why not?
It's been too long, and I think it would settle my head in a bunch of ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also it's just I don't like to look at fucking women something as easily as just taking a shit, because
I agree. It should be so much more than that, so much more magical than that.
yeah,
I'm a romantic.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But also it's like because I see it as a romantic endeavor, I also think about the logistics, like timing of everything, and the price of everything and the material cost of everything. And also the emotional impact of everything, and the expression of everything. And maybe I sound neurotic, but it doesn't feel neurotic when I'm considering it. It feels fun. It feels like I'm crafting experiences, with it's like art, it's like I get to make this night nice, you're playing with space time in that sense. like events, like you're being the dungeon master. Maybe it's a masculine thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just a mastery over your environment, your circumstances.
Yeah. That's why dates are nice, which is something that, you know, like a lot of Zoomers probably don't even really consider.
Well, I don't know how much they're going on dates, but yes.
I hope they're going on lots of dates. I think Zoomers are going on dates. They gotta be. I mean,
Just by youth. Less so than maybe millennials or Gen X or
well,
boomers,
I see what they
but
watch
they'll
on.
still be doing more than the average millennial, perhaps, just because they're young.
I see what they watch on Netflix and, you know, like streaming services, and they're watching K-dramas. And as long as those like hot Korean rich kids are going on cute little dates at cute little cafes, the Zoomers will get it. They'll figure it out. They'll go on a date.
This is a salvation of culture through Korean culture. Even though Koreans themselves are failing to fuck at an extraordinarily high rate.
Maybe it's a human thing or a pre-industrialization thing, but it's like something that's just hardwired into us. Like maybe right now it's Korean K-dramas. Maybe tomorrow will be Bollywood shows or Bollywood films or something. Maybe after that it'll be Canadian dramas or something. I don't know, or British television. Either way.
So what, something foreign of a different view or a different world?
No, I'm saying the media is ultimately our breeding program. That's what's been educating us on how to breed, honestly. And I know this for a fact.
You lean very heavily into large, happy families, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. Also, it just teaches kids what to do. You know, like when you're after the date and then you have a kiss and then it's like you start to feel funny in different parts. Kids watch this shit. That's what these shows are for, ultimately. It's, yes, a lot of smart people consider this a form of abuse on a mass scale. It's like, I didn't ask for my kids to be educated on sex through the TV they watch, and here they are being educated about sex through the TV they watch. But other people I would look at it as like, this has always been happening, you know, like, but then other people would say like, don't act like it's normal to watch someone get face fucked for hours before you even kiss a person for the first time, which is also true.
Yeah, that's very true.
Could you? I can't imagine that. That wasn't me.
Pornography influencing your romantic expectations. Yeah,
I kissed a person when I was like 14 years old or some shit, and like
20 for me.
But I definitely I was not watching like people get face fucked for hours before.
Yeah,
I definitely made out with a chick before I got into porn.
Yeah, same.
But then there's kids now that like watch
the
like
opposite. Yeah, I know that level of influence upon
your sexuality.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what that's like? Like you're a kid.
Yeah, I mean it's true for millennials in general due to the availability of pornography for both men and women.
But for Zoomers, it must be very magnified.
More. I mean, it's occurring much earlier.
Crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even. I'm not trying to be like the think of the kids kind of person. I'm just saying like it's pretty nuts. I don't want to end the podcast on such a such a dark note.
No, it's fine. No, I think it's having hugely negative effects upon humans' psychosexual development.
What is porn?
No, pornography. Yeah.
Oh,
but
hell
everything
yeah.
about the modern world, the modern technology.
Nah, but all right. Let's think of ways to heal it. Here's how I think we could heal it. Listen, if you're a guy especially, or a person in general, if you feel lonely, especially sexually in terms of intimacy, here's my tip. Because if you're able to feel lonely and sexual, like lonely in terms of intimacy, chances are you have enough money to at least invest in like a class. You know, like take all the money you're spending on video games, on porn, on loot boxes, on all sorts of like junk media that's keeping you like lonely
and
like,
wasting money and time,
and put that money, you know exactly what I'm talking about, on your snacks, on your Starbucks, on the shit you just think you have to have. Like sacrifice a bit of that and take a class, take a cooking class. If you don't meet any interesting people, not girls, not guys, but just people. If you don't meet any interesting people, go to a different class, take a yoga class, take a tennis class. Just take classes. Do things. Take classes. Once you take classes, that's how you really meet people. And I don't think you're going to have to search that long.
in person as opposed to dating apps.
Yes. And I don't think you're going to have to search that long. Like you might think like, what the fuck am I going to do at a cooking class? I don't give a fuck about cooking. Do it anyway and you'll be surprised. I guarantee just doing it for like an hour, you're going to be like suddenly like, I'm really into this. This is what happens. Like, I really think people are that malleable, myself included. I don't think I was born for swordsmanship. I think the only reason why I got super duper into it because I actually bothered to put 2 hours into it. 2 hours in of earnest effort, you're into it. If anyone's like that, I think. Like we are in it, we are thirsting secretly. We are hungering for like just novel things to latch onto and to explore. We are explorers as human beings. So just like, some people will pick up an instrument and just put 2 hours into it and suddenly they're hooked because like it's all it takes, 2 hours of commitment. That's all we're missing really nowadays. We're not missing meaning, we're not missing whatever, we're just missing the patience to put 2 hours into something. And once we do, that's it. We're off on it.
Very true. Well, anyway, Chris.
I want to get some munchies.
Yeah.
Anyway, good night.